Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm really excited because we are actually going to talk about my TBR for this spring. I have decided to do another TBR, but this time it's actually going to be a little bit different. Instead of doing a month-to-month TBR, I want to try my hand at doing a TBR for the months of April, which we're kind of already halfway through April, and then pretty much all of May. So this is going to be like a spring-ish 2-month version of a TBR for me. I've never actually done something like this, so this is actually quite exciting. I've already picked the books. It did take me quite some time. Last night I was literally sifting through all of my books, trying to figure out, okay, like what do I want to read? What vibes am I feeling? What books do I want to go for? And I think I found 6 pretty cool books. A lot of them I've had on my shelves for gosh, numerous months by now, and I think I have like 1 or 2 that I believe are new. Definitely 1 for sure, but I think we might have 2. I could be wrong, but let's get into it. Man, guys, the freaking lighting. I have a ring light right here and then natural light coming through, and I just feel like my face is kind of divided with this being like a warmer glow and this being just like natural light, and it's, I don't know, it's not a vibe for me. But let me get my first book for you guys. I kind of went through a lot of romance books. I feel like I'm in a romance vibe, and therefore romance needs to be on this list. And the first book I'm going to talk about is a romance book I've been meaning to read. There is, I think, a TV show. No, it's a movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Is this a movie? I feel like it's a movie, and I can't remember if it's like on Hulu. I don't think it's on Netflix. I don't know. I could be making all of it up, but I do know that it is a movie, and it has Lucy Hale, which funnily enough, the main character of this book, her name's Lucy Hutton, so I feel like that just goes hand in hand. But if you don't know what The Hating Game is about, we have Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeman. They both are co-workers. Both of them are executive assistants, and they're up for the same promotion, but these two absolutely hate each other. They despise each other's guts. They could not be any more opposite. We have Lucy, who wears bright colors. It seems that she has a sense of quirkiness about her and a Pollyanna attitude. And then Joshua is meticulous, he's uptight, and it seems like he's a joyless type of person. And so they are just like extreme opposites. They don't understand one another. And because they're up for the same promotion, it looks like they're going to have to outperform one another. Things seem to get a little bit heated. There seems to be a lot of tension. And somewhere in this book, we are going to see Lucy and Joshua kind of realizing that maybe, just maybe, they don't actually hate one another, and that there are other feelings brewing underneath the surface that they need to talk about and address. And it looks like a lot of things like are going to happen that could eventually have like Lucy out of a job. There's probably going to be a bunch of embarrassment, a bunch of unprofessionalism, and I'm honestly here for it because office drama in books to me is just quite hilarious. It's quite funny. And the fact that they're executive assistants is just so funny because I don't know why I'm getting like Ugly Betty vibes, how she was like an executive assistant and that there was so much drama. I don't know if you guys remember that show, but Ugly Betty was like by far one of my most favorite shows. Also, what is the other one with Anne Hathaway? Devil Wears Prada. Wasn't she an assistant or something like that? And there's always like drama. I just love it. Drama in the workplace, in a book or a movie or any type of form of entertainment is just like my cup of tea. So I'm really excited that I finally am going to get to this spring. The next book that I plan on reading is something that I was supposed to read a couple of months ago, and I didn't, and I honestly forgot about it until yesterday when I saw this on my shelves. It's The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. You guys, I honestly don't know what is up with me. I don't know why this book has been just sitting on my shelves and I keep forgetting about it. There's nothing, like, I'm not saying anything against the book because obviously I haven't read it. I've never read anything by Alex E. Harrow, so I don't know why. I just have this like feeling that I'm not going to like it, which is why I want to read it as quickly as possible to kind of prove myself wrong. And I know why I have this feeling. I think it is a theory, it is a hunch of mine. Now I'm going to talk about what this book is and then quickly kind of tell you like my feelings around just why I'm feeling this way. So in this book, we follow January Scholar. She is under the supervision of a wealthy ward named Mr. Locke. He has, you know, that stereotypical mansion with a bunch of artifacts, a bunch of decor that seems mansion-y. I know that sounds kind of funny, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mansions that look mansion-y. And everything just seems mundane. She's kind of bored. She feels like she's out of place. And then one day she comes across a very strange book, one that depicts a tale of adventure, of love and danger. And to January, this really excites her because she basically gets to escape her real life and go into this other world. Now, the reason why I'm feeling kind of iffy about it is because I feel like there's going to be a lot of magical realism, which I love magical realism when it's done right. And I'm kind of thinking about like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I'm thinking of The Magicians. Although I haven't read the book, I really loved the TV show. And I'm trying to think of something else, maybe Lock and Key as a show. I don't know why my brain is not thinking about books right now, but when done right, magical realism can be one of my favorite themes in a book or just entertainment wise. But for some reason, recently I have read some magical realisms that just aren't doing it for me. It's not my cup of tea, and honestly, I'm kind of intimidated starting this book. And I feel like that's why I've been just subconsciously forgetting about this book and just like putting it back on my bookcases and just kind of forgetting about it. But it is time, you guys. I want to read it. Although this book is giving me winter vibes, obviously because of the name January, it's in the title, it's our main character's name. I feel like it's a winter-ish book. I just want to read it now. I want to read it now. I want to prove myself wrong, and I want to stop being intimidated by this book for some reason. So yeah, that is book number 2. Book number 3 that I have for you guys, I feel like I've talked about this quite a lot on this channel. It is Beast of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth M. Lane. Now this book has been really hyped on Goodreads. I haven't really seen this on YouTube in quite some time, but I still think that this book deserves me to read it. I feel like it's one of those books that I feel like I've been putting off for quite some time because I'm scared that I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon with it and actually enjoy it, because it seems like when there is a very popular book, I tend to go the opposite direction in my thoughts and feelings. And I'm hoping that that's not the case with this book. I'm really excited because this book has multiple POVs. So in this book, we have a character named Waylon Gray. Now, Waylon, he was orphaned. He was raised by wolves, and he has superpower capabilities. Like, he can control the weather. He can make freak storms happen, tornadoes come into town. He can even like grow trees like overnight. So he's definitely an interesting human being. And the cool thing about this book is we get to uncover who he is as a human being based off of other people's POVs, like people who have met him, people who he has helped at one point or another. And there is a character in particular, her name is Mary. Now, Waylon saved her from some type of catastrophe, and ever since then, she just has this feeling like, I want to be in his life, but she knows that this comes with consequences. I mean, he has these cool capabilities, but at the same time, he really doesn't know how to control them. And so although he can probably be very helpful to people, he can also cause a lot of mayhem and destruction. I mean, who would want a tornado rolling through their neighborhood? Not me, not you, I'm pretty sure not anyone. And so she has to deal with these consequences, but I think that this book is going to be absolutely wonderful. I personally love books with several POVs, not just one, especially when those POVs are describing another person that you never really get to know because you're not in their head, or they describe a series of events. It kind of reminds me of The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I was floored when I had all of those POVs. Like, I was addicted, and I'm really hoping that this book will do the same. So the next book that I have for you guys honestly gives me butterflies in my stomach, and the main reason, oh my gosh, I feel like so embarrassed talking about this. The main reason why is because it gives me National Treasure vibes. Now, I know not a lot of people loved National Treasure, but that whole movie franchise lives in my head rent-free. I loved Nicolas Cage as a child, and the National Treasure honestly made me so interested in history and science and just trivia and just like knowing random things. And I always thought as a kid that when I was an adult, I was just going to be given like some type of scavenger hunt, and that's what's in here. This is the Bookshop of Yesterdays by Amy Meyerson. I believe I've talked about this once or twice on my channel. This is a book that has been on my shelves collecting dust for quite some time, and I've just been wanting to find the right moment to read this book. I think actually this is probably one of my first purchases. If you look way back in my channel, I think this is like one of my first book hauls that I had when starting my collection. So this already holds a very special place in my heart because it's like one of the very few books that I started out with. Now, if you don't know what this book is, I have not seen anyone talk about this book at all on social media, and I don't know, I feel special talking about it. So this book gives me butterflies, and this is why, because it compares a lot to National Treasure. So we follow Miranda Brooks. Now, she grew up in the stacks of her eccentric Uncle Billy's bookshop called Prospero Books. Now, what's really cute is that he would give her scavenger hunt clues and stuff like that, like while she was there with him. And so he would put clues in like the pages of a book or somewhere in the bookstore, even at his home, and she would go on these scavenger hunts and find these clues and overall, you know, just like win the scavenger hunt. And it was just like a really cute bonding moment with her uncle. But then one day, I think she's 13, no, it's her 12th birthday. So on her 12th birthday, come to find out that her uncle and her mom got into like this huge argument, and he ended up just like leaving their lives altogether. And she never heard from him at all. She didn't understand the reasoning. Her mom never said anything. And then 16 years later, unfortunately, she receives the news that her uncle passed, but he left her Prospero Books. But again, another sad situation is that it's going under bankruptcy. And the only thing besides the bookstore that he left for her was another scavenger hunt. Now, this compares to me, honestly, in my head to National Treasure, because if you watched the first movie, when Nicolas Cage's character, I forget his name, when he was younger, his grandfather used to like give him these clues and talk about stories about history. And I definitely get like the same feeling and like that butterfly feeling that like there's just so much out there in the world that we don't know, and that you just feel special like having these scavenger hunts and having this bond with like an older person in your family. So that's like one thing, right, that's like giving me butterflies. And then the next thing, so she says, it says that she returns home to Los Angeles and to Prospero Books, and now as its owner, she finds clues that Billy has hidden for her inside novels on the store shelves and in locked drawers of his apartment upstairs, and the name of the store itself. And it says that Miranda is basically determined to not only save Prospero Books, but to finally finish the very last scavenger hunt that her uncle gave her. And I am just so curious as to what this scavenger hunt is going to show her. Now, the cute thing about this book as well is throughout this scavenger hunt, she is going to meet people that were in the life of her uncle, and through their stories, she's going to uncover a really dark and deep secret that her mother has hidden from her, and basically the sole reason that tore her family apart. And I don't know about you guys, but like I'm definitely just, I don't know, I get the same feeling that I said I got from National Treasure. I mean, can you not tell like the similarities? I feel like they're one and the same. Maybe she's not going on like a scavenger hunt for like multi-billion dollars in jewels and like Egyptian tombs and stuff like that, but it's very similar. Anyways, can't wait to read this. This is probably gonna be like the first book that I pick up. The next book, oh my gosh, just like gives me embarrassment for even talking about it, and I don't know why. Well, maybe you do. Okay, maybe if you know what this is, then you know why. Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas is supposed to be one of the most tension-based books out there in romance, and I have definitely seen some paragraphs. They're super spicy, and I'm just like, am I prepared, honestly, to read a book like this? Probably not, but we're going to do so anyways. I feel like it's time for me to crack open this book, and yeah, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty and figure out what is going on. So in this book, we follow two characters named Ryan and Misha. They became pen pals like as kids and continued doing so for like several years, but they had like a couple of major rules for some reason. One of them was that they could not request each other on social media. no phone numbers could be exchanged, and no pictures. And apparently that was a good thing for quite some time, until one day Misha ends up running across a girl online. Her name is Ryan. She's a high school senior. She loves Gallo's Pizza and worships her iPhone. So he's like, what are the chances? And he's like, you know what? No, I need to meet her. But apparently he doesn't expect to hate what he finds. And then on the other side, so Ryan has realized that Misha has not written her in like 3 months, and she's getting really worried. Like, is he dead? Is he in jail? Like, both of those seem like normal options to her, which is quite hilarious. And she's kind of going crazy because this is completely abnormal. Like, the past several years they've been having a regular cadence where like they send letters once or 3 times a day even, which is honestly insane. I don't know how they ended up doing that in the first place, but it seems like these two are going to meet and some things are going to happen. Regardless of how much secondhand embarrassment this book gives me, I think I'm going to enjoy it. Wow, so we are finally on the last book. I really don't like this lighting. Oh my gosh, it's honestly terrible, but we're gonna have to roll through it. We have our very last book. That is Finlay Donovan is killing it. This is by El Casimano, and I have been dying, you guys, to finally pick up this book. And the reason being is because this is a funny, brilliant, and witty contract for hire to kill type of book. And our main character is a mom, a very busy mom, who is a struggling writer, which all of this just seems so ironic and funny. And if you read the quote down here, it says, most moms are ready to kill someone by 8:30 a.m. on any given morning. Now, I'm not a mother, but I know mothers, and I feel like the statement is 100,000 billion% a fact. And it just goes to show you how cute and witty this book is going to be. Now, in this book, we have Finlay Donovan, obviously, who is killing it, except she's really not. It says she's a stressed out single mom of 2 and a struggling novelist. And Finlay finds herself basically being in the world of chaos, which makes sense, right? She's a mom, she's struggling, and pretty much all aspects of life. Why wouldn't she be straddling the line of chaos and normalcy? Now it says Finlay is overheard discussing the plot of her new suspense novel with her agent over lunch, and she's mistaken for a contract killer and inadvertently accepts an offer to dispose of a problem husband. And it says Finlay soon discovers that crime in real life is a lot more difficult than its fictional counterpart as she becomes tangled in a murder investigation. What? Like, how do you find yourself in this type of position? Like, I really don't know, and I'm really curious to see how she even does it, if she does it at all. And like, this murder investigation, like, what is going to happen? It says that this is a fast-paced, deliciously witty, and wholeheartedly authentic book that depicts the frustrations and triumphs of motherhood. Oh, and also this is a brilliant new series from award-winning author El Cosmiano, so it seems like she has other book. Interesting. If I love this, I'm definitely picking up the second one, which is called Finlay Donovan Knocks Him Dead. But yeah, it seems like this book is just going to be very fast-paced, very cute, very funny, and definitely something that I think will get me out of my reading slump. So yeah. Well, you guys, that completes today's video. I'm really excited that we actually have picked out a TBR of like physical books. Now, that is not to say, whoa, the light just changed a lot. That is not to say that we aren't going to pick up some Libby books or even a Kindle. I'm kind of reading a Kindle book as we speak. I'm not going to talk about it in this video because I am going to do a vlog, but I felt like just kind of going with the flow when it comes to audio or like virtual based books, just depending on like my mood of the day and stuff like that. I didn't want to be too hands-on-y with my spring TBR. I did want to leave room for growth, for vibes, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to plan any like Kindle books or Libby books. I'm just going to find some and go with the flow with those. But if you really like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, feel free to subscribe and join our lovely community. And if you want to follow me on other social medias, I will always have my TikTok and my Instagram, and I think a couple others listed down below. I'm trying to be more active and involved on TikTok, but your girl just more of an explorer on the For You page than a contributor. But I'm really trying to change that and get out of my comfort zone And so hopefully in the near future, you will start to see me post more and more random videos on TikTok that will spark joy in your day. But with that, you guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.